we're going to be starting our services in just a few moments. I kindly ask you, if you have a cell phone, you turn it off or silence it at this point.
Friends, I'm Bishop Joy Alapat, Father Pirian, and it's very sad situation that we are facing now. In this occasion, there is no more words to console us, but only we submit Charlie in the hands of God, and let God give him that eternal rest as early as possible. And through our prayers, Charlie will live in our memories, and we all loved him, and he loved each one of us. And this is what we can do, is offer our prayers. So this evening we will have some prayer now here. This is in Malayalam. He was born and brought up in Syro Malabar Right Church in Kerala, and he loved his church and his community. And I know him personally. He was so much loved the church and the community. So it is a great tribute that we can give to him in this occasion through prayer. So we are doing that prayer right now. Usually this prayer is done at the home. ഇത് നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ വെച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു പ്രാർത്ഥനയാണ്. Usually we do this prayer at home, and the content of this prayer is giving farewell to the family, to the house, to the neighbors. So it was the content of this prayer. അപ്പോൾ കുടുംബത്തോടും കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങളോടും വീട്ടുകാരോടും ഒക്കെ യാത്ര പറയുന്ന ഒരു പ്രാർത്ഥനയാണ് ഇതിൽ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ അവസാനം ഒരു തലയിലൊരു മുടി വെച്ച് പിതാവിന്റെയും പുത്രന്റെയും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിന്റെയും നാമത്തിൽ അത്യുന്നതങ്ങളിൽ ദൈവത്തിന് സ്തുതിയും, അത്യുന്നതങ്ങളിൽ ദൈവത്തിന് സ്തുതിയും. ഭൂമിയിൽ മനുഷ്യർക്ക് സമാധാനവും പ്രത്യാശയും എപ്പോഴും നയിക്കും. സ്വർഗസ്ഥനായ ഞങ്ങളുടെ പിതാവേയും സ്വർഗത്തിലെ പോലെ ഭൂമിയിലുമാകണമേ. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ആവശ്യമായ ആഹാരം ഇന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് തരണമേ. ഞങ്ങളുടെ കടക്കാരോട് ഞങ്ങൾ ക്ഷമിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന പോലെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ കടങ്ങളും പാപങ്ങളും ഞങ്ങളോട് ക്ഷമിക്കണമേ. ഞങ്ങളെ പ്രലോഭനത്തിൽപ്പെടുത്തരുതേ, ദുഷ്ടാരൂപിയിൽ ഞങ്ങളെ രക്ഷിക്കണമേ. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ രാജ്യവും ശക്തിയും മഹത്വവും എന്നേക്കും അങ്ങയുടേതാകുന്നു. ആമേൻ. കർത്താവേ, നിന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾ ആരാധിക്കുകയും നിന്റെ കാരുണ്യത്തെ പുകഴ്ത്തുകയും അഗ്നേയമായ ത്രിത്വത്തിന്റെ നിഗൂഢമായ ശക്തിയെ സ്തുതിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ നീ ആകാശത്തിന്റെ ഭൂമിയുടെ രാജാവും ജീവന്റെ മരണത്തിന്റെയും നാഥനമാകുന്നു. പിതാവും പുത്രനും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവുമായ സർവേശ്വര എന്നേക്കും.
മനുഷ്യജീവിതം പുൽക്കൊടിക്ക് തുല്യമാകുന്നു. മരിച്ചവരെ ഉറപ്പിക്കുന്നവനെ അങ്ങയുടെ തിരുനാമത്തിന് സ്തുതി.
മനുഷ്യജീവിതം പുലിക്കൊടിക്ക് തുല്യമാകുന്നു. വയലിലെ പുഷ്പം പോലെ അത് വിരിയുന്നു.
ചുടുകാറ്റടിക്കുമ്പോൾ വാടിപ്പോവുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. അത് നിന്നിരുന്ന സ്ഥലവും അജ്ഞാതമായി തീരുന്നു.
കർത്താവിനെ സ്നേഹിക്കുന്നവരുടെ മേൽ എന്നും അവന്റെ അനുഗ്രഹം ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും.
പിതാവിനും പുത്രനും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിനും സ്തുതി, ആദ്യം മുതൽ എന്നേക്കും. ആമേൻ. മനുഷ്യജീവിതം പുൽക്കൊടിക്ക് തുല്യമാകുന്നു. മരിച്ചവരെ ഉറപ്പിക്കുന്നവനെ അങ്ങയുടെ തിരുനാമത്തിന് സ്തുതി. പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കാം നമുക്ക് സമാധാനം.
മണ്ണിൽ നിന്ന് ആദത്തെ സൃഷ്ടിച്ചവനും അയാളുടെ സന്താനങ്ങളെ ഉത്ഥാനം വഴി നവീകരിക്കുന്നവനുമായ കർത്താവെ, നിന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾ ആരാധിക്കുകയും പുകഴ്ത്തുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ നീ ആകാശത്തിന്റെയും ഭൂമിയുടെയും രാജാവും ജീവന്റെ മരണത്തിന്റെയും നാഥനമാകുന്നു. പിതാവും പുത്രനും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവുമായ സർവേശ്വര എന്നേക്കും.
ആമേൻ. നിന്റെ ദാസന്റെ ആത്മാവിനെ സന്തോഷിപ്പിക്കണമേ.
നിർമ്മലാം മിശിഹ കർത്താവേ, അടലും മരണവുമില്ലാതെ ജീവൻ വിളയും രാജ്യത്തിൽ വാനവരോടെ ചിരകാലം ആനന്ദത്തോടു വാണിടുവാൻ ദാസന് വരമെന്നരുളേണം.
കർത്താവ് വലിയവനും സ്തുത്യർഹനുമാകുന്നു.
ആദിപിതാവാമാദത്തെ സൃഷ്ടിച്ചവനാം ദൈവത്തിൽ ആശ്രയമഖിലമണയ്ക്കുന്നു. മർത്യന് ശരണം നീയല്ലോ. ലോകം വ്യർത്ഥം സകലേശ, ഞങ്ങൾ കരുളുക നവജീവൻ.
വാഗ്ദാനങ്ങളിൽ കർത്താവ് വിശ്വാസ്യനാകുന്നു.
വിലപിക്കരുതേ മരണത്തിൽ, പുനരുത്ഥാനം വരുമല്ലോ. അരുൾ ചെയ്തില്ലേ തിരുനാഥൻ, ദൃഢമായ എന്നിൽ വിശ്വാസം. നിക്ഷേപിക്കും അനുജന് ഞാൻ അന്തിമ ദിവസം ഉയർപ്പേകും.
നീതിമാൻ വിജ്ഞാനം പ്രസംഗിക്കുന്നു.
പൗലോസിൻ തിരുവാക്യങ്ങൾ ശാന്തി നിനക്കു പകർന്നിടും. മർത്യനമർത്യത പുണരുന്നു, ക്ഷയമുള്ളോനക്ഷയനാകും. മർത്യതയേവം സകലേശൻ നിതരാം നൂതനമാക്കുന്നു.
ചിറക് വിടർത്തി അവരെ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്നു.
അമ്പരവീതിയിൽ അഖിലേശൻ മിശിഹാരാജനെഴുന്നള്ളും. പരിശുദ്ധന്മാരണിയണിയാൻ എതിരേൽപ്പിന്നു നിരന്നീടും. ആനന്ദത്തിൻ മണിയറയിൽ ശിരമായി വാണിടും അവയെല്ലാം.
എന്റെ സഹോദര വിശുദ്ധ പൗലോസ്ലീഹ തെസ്സലോനിക്കക്കാർക്ക് എഴുതിയ ലേഖനത്തിൽ നിന്നുള്ള വായന. എന്റെ സഹോദരരെ, മരിച്ചവരെ കുറിച്ച് പ്രത്യാശയില്ലാത്തവരെ പോലെ നിങ്ങൾ ദുഃഖിക്കരുതെന്ന് ഞാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു. ഈശോ മരണശേഷം ഉയർത്തെഴുന്നേറ്റു എന്ന് നാം വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ ദൈവം ഈശോയിൽ മരിച്ചവരെയും അവനോട് കൂടെ ഉയർപ്പിക്കും. നമ്മുടെ കർത്താവ് ആഗതനാകുമ്പോൾ ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നവർ മരിച്ചവർക്ക് മുമ്പ് കടക്കുകയില്ല എന്ന് നമ്മുടെ കർത്താവിന്റെ വാക്കുകളിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങളെ അറിയിക്കുന്നു. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ നമ്മുടെ കർത്താവ് അധികാരത്തോടും പ്രധാന മാലാഖയുടെ ശബ്ദത്തോടും ദൈവത്തിന്റെ കാഹളത്തോടും കൂടെ സ്വർഗത്തിൽ നിന്ന് എഴുന്നള്ളി വരും. മിശിഹായിൽ മരിച്ചവർ ആദ്യം ഉയർത്തെഴുന്നേൽക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നവരായ നാം കർത്താവിന്റെ എതിരേൽപ്പിനായി അവരോടുകൂടെ മേഘങ്ങളിൽ എടുക്കപ്പെടും. നാം എന്നും കർത്താവിനോട് കൂടെ ആയിരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും. ആകയാൽ ഈ വാക്കുകളാൽ നിങ്ങൾ പരസ്പരം ആശ്വസിപ്പിക്കുവിൻ.
നമ്മുടെ കർത്താവേ, എന്റെ രക്ഷകനായ ദൈവമേ, രാവും പകലും നിന്നോട് ഞാൻ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. എന്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥന നിന്റെ പക്കലെത്തട്ടെ. എന്റെ അപേക്ഷ നീ കേൾക്കണമേ. സമാധാനം നിങ്ങളോടുകൂടെ. വിശുദ്ധ യോഹന്നാൻ അറിയിച്ച നമ്മുടെ കർത്താവ് യേശുമിശിഹായുടെ പരിശുദ്ധ സുവിശേഷം. എന്റെ വചനം കേൾക്കുകയും എന്നെ അയച്ചവനെ വിശ്വസിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നവന് നിത്യജീവനുണ്ടെന്ന് സത്യമായി ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് പറയുന്നു. അവൻ വിധിക്ക് വിധേയനാകുകയില്ല, മരണത്തിൽ നിന്ന് അവൻ ജീവനിലേക്ക് പ്രവേശിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. സത്യമായി ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് പറയുന്നു, മരിച്ചവർ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കുകയും അത് കേൾക്കുന്നവർ ജീവിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയം അടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നു, അല്ല അത് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞു. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ ജീവന്റെ ഉറവിടമായ പിതാവ് തന്റെ പുത്രനെയും ജീവന്റെ ഉറവിടമാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നു. മനുഷ്യപുത്രനായതുകൊണ്ട് വിധികർത്താവാകുവാനുള്ള അധികാരവും അവനെ കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇതിൽ നിങ്ങൾ വിസ്മയിക്കേണ്ട. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്നാൽ കല്ലറയിലുള്ളവർ അവന്റെ ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കുന്ന സമയം വരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ നന്മ ചെയ്തവർ ജീവന്റെ ഉയർപ്പിനും തിന്മ ചെയ്തവർ വിധിയുടെ ഉയർപ്പിനുമായി പുറത്തു വരും.
നമുക്കെല്ലാവർക്കും അനുതാപത്തോടും ഭക്തിയോടും കൂടെ നിന്ന് കർത്താവേ, ഈ ആത്മാവിനോട് കരുണ തോന്നണമേ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കാം. അനന്തമായ സ്നേഹത്താൽ ഞങ്ങളെ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുകയും അതുല്യമായ കൃപയാൽ ഞങ്ങളെ രക്ഷിക്കുകയും ചെയ്ത മിശിഹായെ, നിന്റെ കൽപ്പനയാൽ ഈ ലോകം വിട്ടു പുറപ്പെടുന്ന ഈ ആത്മാവിനെ നിത്യാനന്ദത്തിന്റെ തുറമുഖത്ത് സുരക്ഷിതമായി എത്തിക്കുവാൻ നിന്റെ പരിശുദ്ധ ദൂതന്മാരെ നിയോഗിക്കണമെന്ന് അങ്ങയോട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. ഗാഗുൽത്തായിൽ നിന്റെ അമൂല്യമായ രക്തം ചിന്തി രക്ഷിച്ച ഈ ആത്മാവിന്റെ അപരാധങ്ങളും കടങ്ങളും ക്ഷമിക്കണമെന്ന് അങ്ങയോട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. തിരുവുദ്ധാനം വഴി മനുഷ്യവർഗത്തിന് പ്രതീക്ഷയും ശരണവും പ്രദാനം ചെയ്ത മിശിഹായെ, വിധി ദിവസത്തിൽ നിന്റെ മഹത്വത്തിന്റെ പ്രഭയാൽ ഈ ആത്മാവിനെ പ്രകാശിപ്പിക്കുകയും സ്വർഗരാജ്യത്തിന് അവകാശിയാക്കുകയും ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് അങ്ങയോട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. ദുഃഖിതരെ ആശ്വസിപ്പിക്കുവാൻ വേണ്ടി ലാസറിന്റെ മരണത്തിൽ സ്വയം കണ്ണുനീർ ചിന്തിയ മിശിഹായെ കരയുന്നവരുടെ കണ്ണുനീർ തുടയ്ക്കുകയും അവരെ ആശ്വസിപ്പിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് അങ്ങയോട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. കരുണാനിധിയും പാപങ്ങൾ പൊറുക്കുന്നവനുമായ മിശിഹായെ നിന്റെ ദാസന്റെ പാപങ്ങൾ പൊറുക്കുകയും അയാളുടെ കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങളെയും ചർച്ചക്കാരെയും ആശ്വസിപ്പിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് അങ്ങയോട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു.
വിശ്വാസ പ്രമാണം. സർവശക്തനായ പിതാവും പ്രകാശത്തിന്റെയും ഭൂമിയുടെയും സൃഷ്ടാവുമായ ദൈവത്തെ ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. അവിടുത്തെ ഏകപുത്രനും വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. ഈ പുത്രൻ പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവാൽ ഗർഭസ്ഥനായി കാലത്തെ പീഡകൾ സഹിക്കുകയും സ്ത്രീവായി തറയ്ക്കപ്പെട്ട് മരിക്കുകയും സംസ്കരിക്കപ്പെടുകയും എഴുതപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്ന പോലെ മൂന്നാം ദിവസം ഉയർത്തെഴുന്നേൽക്കുകയും ചെയ്തു. അവിടുന്ന് സ്വർഗ്ഗത്തിലേക്ക് എഴുന്നള്ളി പിതാവായ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ വലത്തുഭാഗത്തിരിക്കുന്നു. മരിച്ചവരെയും ജീവിക്കുന്നവരെയും വിധിക്കാൻ വരുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിനെ ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. വിശുദ്ധ കത്തോലിക്കാ സഭയിലും പുണ്യാന്മാരുടെ ഐക്യത്തിലും പാപങ്ങളുടെ മോചനത്തിലും ശരീരത്തിന്റെ ഉയർപ്പിലും നിത്യമായ ജീവിതത്തിലും ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. കർത്താവേ, നിന്റെ കരുണകൾ അനുഗമിക്കുകയും നിന്റെ ദയാധികളുടെ പാപങ്ങൾ വായിച്ചുകളയും ചെയ്യട്ടെ. നിന്റെ മഹനീയാത്രിത്വത്തിന്റെ അനുഗ്രഹം ഞങ്ങളെ സഹായിക്കട്ടെ. ജീവന്റെയും മരണത്തിന്റെയും നാഥനും പിതാവും പുത്രനും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവുമായ സർവേശ്വരം.
കർത്താവേ, അങ്ങ് ആകാശത്തിലും ഭൂമിയിലും സ്തുത്യർഹനാകുന്നു. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ജീവന്റെ കാരണവും ആത്മാവിന്റെ പ്രത്യാശയും അങ്ങാകുന്നു. ജീവന്റെയും മരണത്തിന്റെയും നാഥനും പിതാവും പുത്രനും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവുമായ സർവേശ്വരായ നയിക്കും.
മരണം വരുമൊരു നാൾ ഓർക്കുക മർത്യ നീ, കൂടെ പോരും നിൻ ജീവിത ചെയ്തികളും സൽകൃത്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുക നീ അലസത കൂടാതെ.
മരണം വരുമൊരു നാൾ ഓർക്കുക മർത്യ നീ, കൂടെ പോരും നിൻ ജീവിത ചെയ്തികളും സൽകൃത്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുക നീ അലസത കൂടാതെ.
ചൊല്ലുക മർത്യ നീ എന്തിനു കരയുന്നു, വ്യാകുലമാനസനായി എന്തിനു നീറുന്നു. തിരമാലകളാൽ തിങ്ങിമറിഞ്ഞിളകും കടൽ പോലെ.
കൂടെ പോരും നിൻ ജീവിത ചെയ്തികളും സൽകൃത്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുക നീ അലസത കൂടാതെ.
ഭീകരമരണത്തിൻ കാലടി കേൾപ്പു ഞാൻ, പാപമെനിക്കുള്ളിൽ പേടി വളർത്തുന്നു. സാത്താൻ നിറയും പകയോടെ സതതമലട്ടുന്നു.
കൂടെ പോരും നിൻ ജീവിത ചെയ്തികളും സൽകൃത്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുക നീ അലസത കൂടാതെ. ഞാൻ നല്ലവണ്ണം യുദ്ധം ചെയ്തു, ഞാൻ എന്റെ ഓട്ടം പൂർത്തിയാക്കി, എന്റെ വിശ്വാസം ഞാൻ സംരക്ഷിച്ചു. അതിനാൽ നീതിയുടെ ന്യായാധിപനായ കർത്താവ് ഈ ദിവസം നീതിയുടെ മുടിയനെ അണിയിക്കുമാറാകട്ടെ.
വിശ്വസ്തരായ ഭൃത്യർക്ക് വാഗ്ദാനം ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ട നിത്യാനന്ദത്തിലേക്ക് ദൈവം നിന്നെ പ്രവേശിപ്പിക്കുമാറാകട്ടെ. എന്റെ സഹോദരരെ, ഞാനിപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളോട് യാത്ര പറയുന്നു. നിങ്ങൾ എനിക്ക് വേണ്ടി പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുവിൻ. വിടവാങ്ങുന്നേ നശ്വരമുലകിൽ വിടുതിയെനിക്കായി നൽകിയ വസതി. പരിശുദ്ധന്മാർ പരമാനന്ദം
നുകരുമിടത്തിൽ പോകുന്നു ഞാൻ.
പ്ലീസ് ബി സീറ്റഡ്. അവയെല്ലാം കടന്നു പോകുന്നു. ശാശ്വത ഭാഗ്യം നരനരുളിടാൻ കഴിവില്ലാത്തോരൻ പാർപ്പിടമേ, പ്രഭയുടെ നാട്ടിൽ നിത്യവിരുന്നിൻ അണയട്ടെ ഞാൻ അന്തിമയാത്ര.
എന്നും എന്നേക്കും
സഹജന്മാരെ സ്നേഹിതഗണമേ, യാത്ര ചെയ്താ ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നു,
നിങ്ങളെനിക്കായി ചെയ്തതിനെല്ലാം മിശിഹാനാഥൻ പ്രതിഫലമേകും. എന്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥന നിന്റെ പക്കലെത്തട്ടെ. പ്രാർത്ഥിപ്പതിനായി പരിപാവനമാം ദൈവിക ഭവനം പോകും നേരം സ്നേഹാർദ്രതയാൽ എൻ പ്രിയജനമേ അനുദിനമലിവോടോർക്കണമെന്നേ.
Dear friends, those who want to see, you can come forward. You can watch and view the body. During that time, we will continue these songs.
ഭൂമിയിൽ അവർ വിലപിക്കുന്നു,
ആഡംബരവും പ്രൗഢിയുമെല്ലാം നാശോന്മുഖമായി നിഷ്പ്രഭമാകും. പോകുന്നു ഞാൻ ലയമേലാത്തോർ ഉന്നതമോർശ്രേം പ്രാപിപ്പതിനായി.
നീ എന്നും നിലനിൽക്കുന്നു,
പോയി മറയുന്നീ ക്ഷണഭംഗുരമാ ലോകവും അതിലെ ജടിനാശകളും. അക്ഷയരാജ്യം നേടാനുതകും നിക്ഷേപങ്ങൾ കരുതുക നമ്മൾ.
അവനെ തേടി കണ്ടെത്തിയില്ല,
ദുഷ്ടത കുടിവാണഴുകി നശിക്കും. ലോകമിതെന്നിൽ ഭീതിയുണർത്തി, ഓടിപ്പോയി ഞാൻ ജീവൻ പകരും കുരിശിനെ വിരവോടാശേഷിച്ചു.
നിന്റെ കരുണ എന്നെ അറിയിക്കണമേ.
ശാന്തിയിൽ മകളെ പൊയ്ക്കൊള്ളുക നിൻ പാപത്തിനു ഞാൻ മാപ്പേകുന്നു. പാപിനിയോടായി കൽപ്പിച്ചതുപോൽ എന്നോടുമിപ്പോൾ കൽപ്പിക്കണമേ.
കാഹളമോദി അവനെ പുകഴ്ത്തുവിൻ,
ദൂതർ വിളിക്കും കാഹളനാദം. വിധിനാളുയരും മോഹനഗാനം. അത് കേട്ടുണരും മൃതരെല്ലാരും ത്രിത്വത്തിനായി കീർത്തനമോതും.
സ്വർഗം ഭൂമിയിലിറങ്ങി ആദത്തിനും സന്തതികൾക്കും പറുദീസായിൽ പുനരധിവാസം നൽകുന്നതിനായി സ്വർഗം തന്നെ ഭൂവിലിറങ്ങി മഹിതാത്ഭുതമേ. വിശുദ്ധർക്ക് അന്ധകാരത്തിൽ പ്രകാശമുദിച്ചു.
വിധിയുടെ ദിവസം മിശിഹാരാജൻ വിണ്ണിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ മൃതരെഴുന്നേൽക്കും. ജീവിപ്പവരോ വിസ്മയകരമായി രൂപാന്തരവും പ്രാപിച്ചിടും.
നിന്റെ കരുണ ഞങ്ങളെ അനുഗമിക്കട്ടെ.
പരിശുദ്ധന്മാരെതിരേൽപ്പിന് വന്നമ്പരമധ്യേ നിരചേരുന്നു. സ്നേഹിതരെ ഞാൻ അവരുടെ അണിയിൽ ചേരുന്നതിനായി പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കണമേ.
നിന്റെ അരൂപി അയക്കുക, അവ സൃഷ്ടിക്കപ്പെടും.
മിശിഹാനാഥ പാപികളെല്ലാം നിൻ കൽപ്പനയാൽ ഉദ്ധിതരായി ഇരുള് നിറഞ്ഞോരവനിയിലെങ്ങും തിരുവുത്ഥാനം ദീപ്തി പരത്തി
ധനികരും ദരിദ്രരും
മൃതിയുടെ പൊതുവാം പാതയിലല്ലോ നീങ്ങുന്നുലകിൽ മാനവരെല്ലാം ധനികന്മാരും നിസ്വരമൊപ്പം പ്രതിഫലമതിനായി പായുന്ന നിശം
അവർ ചിറക് വിരിച്ച് പറന്നു വന്നു.
ദൈവിക ദൂതൻ ധരയിലിറങ്ങി കന്യാവിഗതൻ സവിധമണഞ്ഞു. മനുജന ശരണം ശാന്തിയുമരുളും തിരുസന്ദേശം മേരിക്കേകി. നീ അവർക്ക് പാനീയം കൊടുത്തു, പൈതാഹത്താൽ വലയം ധരതൻ നീരുറവകളെ സ്നേഹന്മാരെ നിങ്ങളണയ്ക്കും പ്രാർത്ഥനയെന്നും നൽകണമഭയം ഞങ്ങൾക്കുലകിൽ. Dear friends, the prayer concludes here. This prayer is concluded here today. This prayer will be continued tomorrow in the church during the funeral time.
On behalf of my family and myself, I'd like to begin by thanking everyone here, the people in this room that I call my relatives, friends, and family. For those of this sent their condolences, I'm humbled and blessed to be sharing this moment with all of you. My family and I have received countless number of phone calls, text messages, social media messages, meals, flowers, visits, thoughts, and prayers. All of these have been so comforting during this difficult time. They've served as a great reminder of the impact my father's had on so many others. But I stand here completely speechless and shocked. I've never had to make a eulogy before, and it's hard to put into words the emotions and thoughts that have led us to this moment. My father lived an amazing life, but cut short to only 64 years. I turned exactly 32 in 2 days. I would only have lived half the life my father did. He lived 2 of my lifetimes, and he lived 2 full lifetimes. You never think the day like this would come to pass, especially to a man like my father. He was a bull. Grabbed life by the horns, and throughout my life, he's been a role model, the pinnacle of hard work, determination, family values. And for the last 3 years, his health. People may question his health because of what has transpired, but he was a strong and physically active man. He never could sit idle. Dad was always on the move. He was connecting with people through various forms of communication. He was always working with his hands and doing activities that honestly most men his age would never do, or would just delegate to someone a lot younger. Yes, my dad did have diabetes and hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, but he was absolutely in control of those. He's lived with them for 10, 20 plus years, but never changed who he was. Dad wasn't overweight, he wasn't a smoker, he definitely did not abuse drugs or alcohol, but for the last 2.5 weeks, my family and I have been constantly questioning why this has happened and why now. The stroke my father suffered is not something most people ever return back from. It's a stroke that works painlessly and quickly. The only comfort my family and I have been able to take in all of this experience is that Dad went peacefully, no damage to his body or physical condition. The pain and shock was solely on our end, not his. I would have never thought in all my life, or in a million years, my father would have left us this soon. The pain of his passing so soon is something I'll never forget. And honestly, it is something I wish I could forget. I've never experienced tragedy, a personal tragedy like this before in my entire life, and I would not wish this experience on anyone, even my worst enemy. But going through this experience the last few weeks has allowed me to reflect so much about life, about my father, the life he led and what he taught us. And part of me believes Dad wanted to depart this way. He was never going to let himself get so sick to the point that my family had to take care of him, drive him to doctor's appointments or babysit him. He would never allow himself to live a life where he couldn't move at fast speeds or speak to his friends and family every day. And the stroke he suffered would have guaranteed that, but he wasn't going to let that happen. He wanted to go this way, but the only issue was why now? My dad always had a way of teaching me random lessons indirectly. He was not the kind of father that would just do my homework or just give me the answers to the test. He always wanted me to get my hands dirty too, and whatever he wanted to teach. Now, if I was ever apprehensive to complete a task, he would always take it upon himself to complete it himself. But he always makes sure I get the opportunity to try again. Part of me believes his passing now was him trying to give me the keys to fatherhood, to build my own life, and to challenge me to lead the family that he led. You know, part of this reflection has allowed me to remember a few things that he's told me about. And I remember now that my father lost his father right around my age that I am today. He also lost his mother-in-law and father-in-law about 2 years after I was born. So my parents had to deal with losing their parental figures in their life very early on in the 30s. And they had to learn how to raise and grow a family with no parental guidance. They did an amazing job. I couldn't have been more blessed to have the kind of father I did. Everything I am, I owe to him, truly. He was my rock, he was my sidekick, he was my mentor, all in one. And to lose someone like that, the word hard doesn't even begin to describe this loss. I honestly don't know how I'll recover from this, but I know I must try like he did. My father carried so much on his shoulders for decades, and he always tried to do it by himself. It wasn't until most recently, for the last year or so, that myself and my sister have been able to alleviate his workload. He was able to go on vacations, stay at his house in Florida for weeks at a time, really enjoy his life. but like he always is, he was never able to sit idle. He's always finding something to do to keep him physically active, busy, whether it be hauling heavy materials to build his outdoor kitchen in Florida, climbing ladders 20 feet up in the air, difficultly to build. Or just running and working out, he always was. He's always busy. Part of this time I've had to reflect has made me believe that this is God's way of telling him to get the rest he deserved. However, for my own obvious selfish reasons, I do not want this to happen now. I do not want God to take him yet. I wanted to see him grow old, to retire, to collect those Social Security checks he always mentioned, and take my kids and his grandkids to Disney World and all the other Orlando amusement parks that he always mentioned when the kids get older. Even though Dad will not be able to experience those things, my family and I will make sure to carry through and live out those activities that he has yet to experience. But I ask everyone here, again, the people I call my friends, cousins, relatives, uncles, and aunts, to find that parent or parental figure in your life that has impacted you as much as my father did to me. And just to find a random moment in the next day or two, to talk or see each other briefly or not. Hear their voice, gather some advice, just have a random conversation. Because we never know what life has in store for us tomorrow, but we all have to make the most of it with the people we love and the people that have impacted us the most, like the man my father was to me.
Very good to see everyone, and thank you all for being here today. I know there were many of you who came from out of the country, and my family and I appreciate your support and presence here with us today. I know my father would have enjoyed seeing you all as well. Knowing him, he would have celebrated and smiled from ear to ear. After speaking with many of you, the passing of my father is extremely shocking and very confusing. As his daughter, I am truly heartbroken and overwhelmed. It was truly unexpected. Dad was a very healthy man, especially in the care of my mom. Mom was very disciplined in the diet they both had and shared, and Dad enjoyed it. There were days, though, Dad cheekily would be like, "Kucharani, do you have any better blood?" My Malayalam isn't good, so forgive me. And Mom would always say, "Boda," like, "Get out of here with that, you had enough." It was amusing to watch them two. They would drink lemon and turmeric water together, apples, beets, and carrot juice together, cinnamon water together. They would eat bitter melon. They would enjoy quinoa with their chicken curry, and they would eat their almonds, unsalted, of course. It became a regimen, a very strict regimen. At times, I would joke around with Dad and say, "Dang, Dad, your woman is really strict." Dad would always laugh and say, "Shekurta, Mommy loves me. I receive in that way only. I thank her daily for her love and concern." Dad was active. Dad was glued to his Apple Watch, I would say for the past 10 years or so, ever since it came out. I mean, he was addicted to it. He always completed his rings every day, and he maintained at least 15 to 18,000 steps daily. He burned at least 800 calories daily, and he always exceeded his standing goal. Dad would call me and be like, "Shekuta, what is this? I am beating you. You are young blood, come on, I am old blood. Get up, burn the fat, get it out of the body." He enjoyed just moving. He never wanted to sit or be idle. He always would share stories of his grandfather and how active he was, and he said he always admired that about him. My father was admitted to the ICU in Toronto, Canada, in the early morning of Sunday, May 1st. Dad had a blood clot in the main vein of his brain, which resulted in the stroke. A very rare stroke that I believe occurs only 1% of the time, and it was located in the base of his brain, which controls basically everything in our body, from our speech to our motor movements, to our organs, you name it. When the doctors tried to suction the clot, it fragmented, and due to that, they found more clots hidden underneath it. Dad's brain was shutting down, and due to that, his breath was shortening. The respirator was helping him breathe. He was starting to swell. His blood pressure was becoming unstable, and only the medication was stabilizing him. It came to a point where the doctors were asking Clement, my mom, and I to make some very hard decisions on Dad's life. Decisions I wish on no one to ever have to make. I have taken some time to reflect these past 3 weeks, and in these weeks, I have thought and heard a lot of what if we did this, and maybe it was due to this. Maybe it was the vaccine, maybe it was the side effect of having COVID, maybe we should have done more scans of the brain, maybe we should have checked his numbers more, or prescribed more medication, maybe we should have reduced his stress level. But you know, who knows? What if you did everything and the outcome was the same? Or what if it was worse? I had the same questions and thoughts, but God answered. A lady at the hospital, her name was Victory. She told my family and I, if it gives you any peace, no matter when you brought your father, the outcome would have been the same. It may be hard to understand, but God told me to be still and know He is God. He is at work, and in all things, God is in control. I truly witnessed God's hand at work in many ways during these past few weeks. When we heard the news of Dad, Clement, Eunice, and Sergeant Uncle flew out the same day, that Sunday, to Toronto. I know Sibi Uncle, Sarto Uncle, Ritanti, and Regianti, you also came by car. And I want to thank you all for dropping everything you were doing to be there to support my mom, Clement, and myself. I know the drive and the travel was not easy, as it is out of the country, and words cannot express enough our appreciation. Mo and I were not able to, as Canada has very strict rules for those who are unvaccinated. Through Sunday and Monday, Mo and I were growing weary, and Eunice was doing everything in her power with the hospital and the embassy to get us admitted into Canada due to the sensitivity of the situation. Mo was filling out paperwork with the embassy, calling them to explain our situation, and every individual we spoke to stated there was no chance, and the paperwork we submitted would take 14 days to process. Despite the circumstances, we still had faith. When Tuesday came around, Mo booked a flight to Buffalo, New York. He was saying, Cheryl, we can't fly into Canada, so let's fly to Buffalo and drive to the Canada border, and hopefully we can explain our situation to the guard. So we flew into Buffalo. We landed on Tuesday night and around 9 p.m. From there, we found a clinic that was open for us to get tested. When we walked in, the lady at the front desk turned us away. She said, "Sorry, we are booked." I explained to her our situation, and all she said to me was, "Sorry to hear. I can't help you. There is no way you will cross the border, even with a negative test, as you are foreign citizens who are unvaccinated." It was then another lady with compassion heard and said, "I will take them. We will make an exception." We thank God for delivering us in that situation. So we got tested, and the lady said the results will come in 24 to 48 hours. Wednesday morning came, and we had no test results and still heard nothing from the hospital or the embassy. Mo decided to go back to the airport in Buffalo as they had rapid tests. When we went, we explained the situation to the man there, and he said he looked at the Canadian travel website, and we were told once again there was no chance for us to get through. We said we understood and just wanted to get tested. In 20 or so minutes, we received back our test results, and thankfully we're both negative. We thank God in that situation. Mo and I went back to the hotel to print out the negative results and get to the border as quick as possible. When Mo pulled up his email to print the results, he found a letter from the embassy and the hospital that stated, "With compassion, we are allowing you into our country." We were shocked. This was supposed to take 2 weeks to process. We thank God for delivering us in that situation. We gathered all our documents and we jetted to the border. When we got to the border, we were met with a guard who was not very nice. We presented him with our U.S. passports, our negative COVID tests, our letter from the embassy and the hospital. The guard took everything and he said, "What is this?" We explained to him our situation, and he was very confused, as he said he has not seen this before. Mo and I were running on empty. We had barely any gas left in the tank, and I was starting to believe we will get turned away. The guard came back and said, "You know what? Thank you for all your preparations. I will let you guys through." Once again, we were shocked. We thank God for delivering us in that situation. It is now Wednesday afternoon, and as we were trying to drive to the hospital, Clement and Eunice were telling us we can't. New doctors and nurses came in and kicked them out and got stricter with the visiting hours and rules. We drove to Bina Auntie and Sabo Uncle's house. And again, we thank you guys for all your hospitality and kindness for keeping our family with you. Words cannot express our gratitude towards you, Bina Auntie and Sabo Uncle. When we pulled in, we waited, and I started to grow restless. And I told Mo, "Come on, let's go to the hospital." We drove to the hospital, and when we went to check in, they turned us away. We sat outside the hospital and prayed over Dad in front of his room. Clement then texted us within that hour and said, "Eunice pulled some strings. If you know Eunice, she is very resilient." And me and Mo were able to get admitted to go see Dad. We thank God for delivering us in that situation. When we got into the room, it was ICU room number 9. I was overwhelmed. Seeing Dad with all the machines on him and everything, it was a lot. But God gave me strength that I didn't understand or foresee. Dad looked peaceful. Dad still had breath that night. Mo and I sat with him. We prayed over him. The Brown family prayed over him. Thank you guys. You guys are truly our prayer warriors. We sang with him. We joked around with him. We thanked him. And we cried. At one point, I saw Dad's eyeballs move a little bit. like, Dad, I know you can hear us. You may not be able to talk, but I know you can hear us. For a few days, I wrestled with God. I asked God, you say if we have faith the size of a mustard seed, mountains can be moved. I said, Lord, send me a sign of a mustard seed to signify my father will live and recover. For days, all I selfishly did was look for a mustard seed. I looked crazy. I was like, is that a mustard seed? Is this a mustard seed? It turned out to be a poppy seed. You know, I gave up looking. I knew it wasn't right for me to do. Visiting hours were over, and Mo and I left the hospital that night. When we were driving back to Bina Auntie and Sabo Uncle's house, a message popped up on my phone. I was not able to swipe on it. It was not a text message or a Gmail message or any type of app message. It was just a gray box that was unmovable. And it said, congratulations, Charlie. You have crossed the finish line. Job well done. Welcome to freedom. I knew then the Lord took my father home. It was truly God's divine intervention. That was my confirmation. That was my son. On Thursday morning, Dad had no more breath. It was only the machines that were keeping him going. And by Thursday night, my family and I gave Dad all our kisses, all our hugs, all our gratitude, and said our goodbyes. I know some of you actually saw my father during his last days. He was visiting Toronto, Canada for a wedding, but came a few days earlier to see family and friends. And after speaking with you all noted to me that he was so happy, like he was jumping for joy. He was laughing, he was eating, which Dad always enjoyed a good meal. He was exercising and teaching a few exercises at the same time. He was talking. He was long-winded, just like myself. And overall, Dad was very joyous. Always sandosham. I hope I said that right. Thinking about my father in his last moments, I was happy for my dad. My father never suffered here on this earth. The doctors told us he felt no pain even during his stroke. He went through his trials, he went through his seasons of hardships in his life, but he never suffered. How he came into this world as a joyful child, he left as a joyful man. In all things, I truly witnessed God's protective hand over his life. Through my father's afflictions, he found joy. Through his challenges, his faith in God was strengthened exponentially. And through it all, he served as a strong witness for Christ. My father was everything to me. He was not only my father, who I respected and loved. He was my teacher. Dad taught me so much. He poured into me in many ways, in ways I could not understand or see at times the benefit of. Dad taught me how to work. Dad would say, in whatever you do, work with heart, as God has blessed you. So you work for him and no one else. Don't look to your left, don't look to your right. Rest in him and work with a good heart. Take care of what you are responsible for, and be thankful for what you have been blessed with. He had a strong work ethic. He was consistent, disciplined, and organized. Dad would wake up early in the morning, and the first thing he would do is pray alone. As a child, I was very nosy, so I always snooped on him during that time. He would go take a shower, brush his teeth. He would pray in the shower. He would wear the clothes that Mom would lay out for him. He would come downstairs and eat the food that Mom would prepare for him. He would always give Mom a hug before he went off to work. And he would always pray before leaving for work. And then when he works, he works. He climbs shelves, drives forklifts, you name it. He was go all day long. If you truly knew my father, you knew his love to work, and he was an extremely hard worker with a very sharp mind. He was a hustler by nature. I used to tell Dad, "Slow down, Dad," and he would always say, "Shekhata, never tell Daddy to slow down. It will not happen." I look to him as an example daily in my own life. No matter what, hard work is not a trait that just springs up, but is something that you have to consistently practice and build. He modeled that for me, and I apply that daily in my own life. Dad taught me many things, but another one that pops in my mind is managing money. I can remember a time in my very early 20s, I got my first job, and I had purchased some hair extensions. My hair was short, and I wanted to give it some length. I remember when the box had arrived, I opened it and got excited. I saw Dad walking over to the box and looking at the receipt, and looking at the hair, and he said, "Indadevame," which means, "Oh my goodness." I think I had spent $100 or so on the hair. So he sat me down and asked me a few questions patiently. He said, "Cheryl, what is in your hand?" I said, "Hair." He asked me, "How much did you spend?" I said, $100 or so. He said, "What is on your head?" I said, "Hair." He said, "What did you do last week?" I said, "I cut my hair." It was in that moment I felt like an idiot. I said, "Dad, I feel dumb. There's no way around it. I'm not even going to try to justify it." Dad said, "I didn't say that, you said that." Dad then told me, "Cheryl, there's a way to manage your money. I know you got your first job, but you cannot spend money on frivolous things that you do not need. The hair is on your head. Go into the cabinet, rub some coconut oil, and take a warm shower. And wait 6 months. Your hair will be longer than what you bought. And all you spent was $3 or $4 on coconut oil and your daily and necessary shower." Dad would call that necessary expenses. Those are just one of the many conversations, and to this day I practice what he has taught me, the principles that he has shared with me. I returned the hair, by the way. He was my supporter and my best friend. There's always one parent you are more like. In my family, Clement and Mom are twins. They understand each other, and me and Dad, we're twins. I know what Dad is thinking and feeling even before he says anything. It was actually strange because the week that my dad was in Toronto, I had just a weird feeling, and I kept calling him throughout the week, and all I kept seeing was he was just very tired. I would give Dad calls and check in on Dad and ask him, "Dad, how are you doing?" And Dad would say, "I am okay." I would say, "No, Dad, how are you? How are you?" And 5 hours later, we were still talking. Dad was my biggest supporter in anything I did, and in the games that I had, events, graduations, our marriages. Dad was always there standing and cheering in the stands. He was quite the dancer. He was very loud, but he didn't care. He was our encourager. When I graduated from college, I remember them calling my name, and all I saw was my dad, this little man jumping for joy. He was screaming, he was making all these funny sounds. He was my comedy. Dad was so funny to me. I used to tell him, "Dad, when you try to be funny, you're not. But when you are not trying, I can't stop laughing." He was this cute little man to me that packed a punch. He had a lot of confidence and a lot of charisma. I loved to hear Dad laugh. His laugh was contagious, and his smile was infectious to me. No matter what I was going through, hearing him laugh and seeing him smile took away any anxiousness or worries I had. in that moment. He was my birthday twin. Dad's birthday is September 14th, and my birthday is September 19th. Every year since I could remember, Dad and I always celebrated our birthdays together. A few days before my dad left for Canada, we talked about how he wanted to celebrate his 65th birthday this year. He was telling me he wants the family to rent a boat, catch some fish, have Mom season it with her special masala seasoning, and just enjoy each other's company. It will be hard moving through the rest of my life without my birthday twin. I still will always celebrate Dad, but I know it won't be the same. He was a grandfather. This is especially hard when I think about my own daughter, Life, and my nephew, Luke. I couldn't get to know my two upper chins except through stories from my father and mother. So I always prayed for Clement and I's children to know their upper chin, Charlie. I remember when Dad was asking us, "Oh, Shekutta and Clement, when do I get to see my grandkids? That is my dream." And I know I would always tell Dad, "Okay, hold on. We gotta slow down. One step at a time. I'm still figuring out how to take care of a husband." Dad would say, "Come on. Boom, boom, boom. 6, 7, 12, pop them out." I would always be like, "Oh my goodness, you are really crazy." Dad asked, and instead of one, God graciously delivered 2. Dad would call me every day before bed on FaceTime, and I'll put Life on the phone, and Dad is smiling from ear to ear saying, "Chuku! Chakare!" To Life and Luke, I know till my last day, I will continue to share stories of Upwich and Charlie. I have many in the chamber, and I know how much he loved you guys, and how much he was looking forward to your first birthdays. Dad served many roles in my life, more than I can speak on or list. It is very difficult to grieve the loss in each one. In the book of Philippians, Apostle Paul was speaking to the church in Philippi, and he said, "For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Though I lost my father, my best friend, my supporter, my teacher, and I must endure the pain for the rest of my years that has caused, and learn to live without his consistent presence, I know my father has truly gained. For a man who has done everything for me, and more than I deserve, I can only be joyful for my dad, and respect and be responsible for what he has accomplished in his years. He lived a full life. He traveled, he worked hard, he got married, he had 2 kids, he saw Clement and I graduate, get married, and have children of our own. Even though my father's body is present here with us today, I know his soul is eternally with the Lord. Dad, you don't have to worry or be concerned about the cares of this world no more. No more waking up early to check on this. No more running around to check on that. No more managing this, that, or the third. No more being consumed over your health or your family. You ran your race, Dad. In 64 years, Dad, you ran a heck of a race. You crossed the finish line. You did it all in love, with a steadfast heart always leaning on the Lord. My father is truly free. He is at rest. He is at peace. And I can't wait to meet him again behind those pearly gates when the time comes. And in all things, glory and honor belong to God. Thank you all for your time. And I wrote to my dad and I said, "Love always, your Shekutta."
May not the most eloquent words like Clement and Cheryl. But I just speak from my heart right now. Again, I'm already some Cheryl's husband, and I'm just truly honored and grateful to be embraced by my second family. Just remember, when I met Cheryl and I was getting introduced to the family, I was really nervous. Didn't know how, to be embraced. And when it came time for me to meet the family, and I had my man-to-man conversation with Dad over there. He challenged me, of course. I had to take care of his daughter. But I guess once I passed his test, he said, "Welcome home, son." And he just embraced me and honestly treated me just like a son. So, even though this is a tough loss, I'm just grateful of being able to join the family and truly just see a man just live by example. Just a hard worker, a forgiving person, a man that truly honored his family, that worked for his family, and set things in order for his family. And I'm just grateful that he has created a path for me to follow, to be able to take care of his daughter. And even though, he's not here with us physically, I know that he served God, and everything that he did was to serve God. And I'm grateful for the life that he's lived, just all the people that's here. He's impacted so many people from every walk of life. And 64 years, I don't know how anybody can accomplish what he did in that time. So even though today is sad, we will always rejoice in the life that he's lived and be grateful for the life that he's lived, and know that this is our temporary home, and we will have joy when we see God eternally. And this is just a reminder that we need to love one another, and just to know that the only thing that we do for God is what will last. And I know my Father is resting with him right now. So again, thank you all. I guess the floor is open for anyone who wants to make any comments. So, thank you.
This does conclude our services. On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank you all for joining us and continue to share those stories of Charlie with one another and with the family. Anyone who's going to be coming with to church tomorrow, I would recommend to be here between 8:30 and 9 tomorrow morning. We will start our prayers at about 9:30 in the morning to get us over to church at approximately 10:30. Once again, thank you all, and you can continue your visitation hours. Thank you.
we're sitting here, hello, I'm Carice. Hey everybody. I am Mo and Cheryl's sister. So I'm gonna just sing while you guys are still paying your respects. They're just trying to get the sound together. But I just want to share a couple words about Papa Charlie. We call him Papa Charlie. As you all know, he was the life of the party, like literally. And one of my fondest memories was when Mo and Cheryl got married. A friend of the family, I think it was Keith, one of Mo's friends, he was like, man, when I get married, I want Mr. Charlie at my wedding. I just met him today, but he's gonna be at my wedding. Everybody else, you all aren't invited. Mr. Charlie, he's coming to my wedding. So I think I think Mr. Charlie actually had to start taking reservations for wedding appearances because he literally just brought joy. His smile just lit up an entire room, and he was like the epitome of don't worry, be happy. I think he has some Jamaican blood in him. So. But yeah, so that is one of my joyous memories, and he really, really loved God. Like one of the last things he said to me was, God, please, God. I can't do his accent, but God, please, God. So that he was a child of God, and I really, that gives me a little bit of peace. So before I sing, I just ask that, I just want to pray again. Father God, I just ask that you would just release your peace and your strength upon this room, upon every person, upon every soul. And God, we don't understand everything that you do, but we just ask, Lord, as you say in your word, that you will give us peace that surpasses all of our understanding. In your mighty name, we pray. We thank you for the gift that you gave us, Mr. Charlie. He was truly, truly a gift. What a privilege that it was that he was put in every one of our lives to touch us. I didn't ask to meet him and his family, but what a privilege, what a gift it was that we were all able to encounter him in some kind of way. So for that, Father God, we thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Carry on.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We're just waiting for the sound. Okay, I have to sing a cappella, but that's okay. We will work it out. Unless you want to just play the one in my phone, you could just play it slow. I have to go with the flow. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You always walk you are the one who let me shine. Now I was the one with all the glory, and you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Oh, did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. Oh, you are the one who pushed me through for so long. I will be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you are my hero? You're everything I would like to be. Oh, I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything, everything, everything I wish to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings.
to start really. We come from Florida. We get to know this dear family for a very short period of time. There was a theologian by name Thomas Fuller lived in England in the 17th century. He said, if you have one dear friend, that means you got more than you deserve. I could say very honestly, I got a dear friend, now dear brother Charlie, and that was more than I deserved. You get to know this dear family for about a little over 2 years, but it has been such a bond, such a friendship. We have been here in this country for a very long time, but we have not experienced that closeness with many people. And my wife Ann working, she's there from Orlando, Florida. She got to know them first, then as a family got together. And the same person, Thomas Fuller, also said this way. I want to read it for you. A passage that he said. Lord, please be throw this little clay cottage down as you please. Make it rock. Make it shake it. Make it tumble. But be pleased to summon me at your time, as you please, to those pearly gates. That's all we can say at this time. When the God is pleased, He is summoned. We shake, we rock, we tumble. So many things happens in life. But the time when God decided, we would not know when that is, how that happens. But in God's love and mercy, He decides how that takes place. Dear Pacharani, Clement family, Sherland family, you are in our prayers. All the other family members, you get to know some of you. You are in our prayers. Will be whatever way we can be helpful. We will do it. We will be available. In losing this dear brother, I can say we lost a dear father, a dear friend, a dear grandfather, a great businessman, a person who loves people and cared for people, and did more than what he shared can be a much bigger portion that he was able to deliver in that life that he lived. God has accounted for all that, and we are pleased to say that we got to know them was a great privilege in our life. You all will be in our prayers, and one day, it's our assurance. We should trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. We will all see Him there, and that should be the assurance that we need to have in life. That each day we live for the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ, and make the people of peace, loving peace, and giving peace to others. And that's all we can do, that also we can share. Thank you for this time to share our thoughts. God bless you all.
Charlie was his. One day the trumpet sound, and we all will be there, meeting up in the glory. Last 19 days, I don't know if I slept. First day, Ronnie sent me the text. My heart was broken. He prayed day and night, every day, and I was asking questions, Lord, why are you leaving her alone? Why are you leaving everybody alone? Why? I asked so many whys to God, but if God has a plan, He has a purpose, we don't know. So all of us are really hard to walk with the Lord, more closer to God, and be good to people and to God always. Commit your life, lead a good Christian life, be faithful to God, and have a great wisdom for the Lord. And the Lord will take care of all of us. And one day when I was walking, I talked about Charlie, that he is passed away, and one of the Muslim person told me, and we are all waiting with the ticket, but we are waiting for the confirmation. So are you ready for that day when the Lord calls us? We have to do the right thing, do good thing, be good to people, and take care of the disabled and poor people, and God will watch over us and take care of us, and we will meet Him up in glory. Thank you for this time. I especially want you, Clement, and Cheryl and families take care of Ronnie. She's heartbroken. I thank you for Eunice for calling me always and giving me the update. I'm very grateful for all the family members. Thank you, and God bless you.
Just want to add one little thing in this. I have 3 children. One of my daughters live in New Jersey. She has met Charlie and Kucharani when they were in our house. Her name is Susan. One day she called me. She's involved in a project. One day she called me and asked, Dad, I want to talk to a businessman. I know a lot of doctors, I know a lot of engineers, a lot of nurses, but I don't know any business people. I said, don't worry about it, I know the right person. So I called the Charlie and told my daughter's number. They met before, but they didn't have the numbers each other. About 2 weeks before, my daughter called him. They spent a long time discussing some business issues. What my daughter is, she's an attorney working for one of the large pharmaceutical companies. She's a director, but she had some issues with the business questions she is involved with. And she told me Charlie was able to guide her through in the right way, and she was looking forward to talk to him again. So what I mentioned this is, I just want to express that she's sending her condolences, deepest condolences to the family, all of you. How great a father for your children, a father was, and Kucharani, your husband was. He was such a great businessman, a great person, was always willing to help others, and we also want to follow the same footsteps as he has. God bless you. Thank you.
Again, you all, if anybody wants to share your comments, again, the floor is open, and I'll just leave the microphone at your convenience.
only 1 year and 50 days elder to Charlie. When my mother delivered Charlie, I was only 1 year. And Charlie has taken my place. And my mother used to tell me that I cried to lie down with my mother. I sometimes lie at the feet of my mother because Charlie took my place. We were like twin brothers. Charlie and Jolly was like Anna and Maria, or Vijayan and Ajay, or Tony and Ronnie. Where Jolly is, there is Charlie. Charlie always follows me. If I climb the table, definitely he will climb the table. He always follows me. I remember in my childhood one incident. That was back in 1960s, when we were only 5-6 years old. We are brought up by our uncle, Kunyalappan. My mother and father was away. We could see our mother and father only 3 times in a year. That is for Onam holidays, Christmas holidays, and the summer holidays. Otherwise, Charlie is with me and I am with Charlie. We are together. After the 6th standard, we are away from parents. We lie together on the same bed, same pillow. I failed in 4th standard, so as Charlie failed in 3rd standard. It is not because we are not intelligent, but because we were away from our parents. There was nobody there. Of course, my uncle, my grandma was always taking care of us. But mother is mother. Later, when I became an altar boy, Charlie also became an altar boy. We were serving in the church. Then I started studying cycling. Then I taught Charlie how to cycle. I was holding him not to fall. I was running after him. We were playing football all the time. Our Holy Communion was in the same day with Bishop Kundukulam. And confirmation was also on the same day. We were doing everything together. If I do naughty, he is definitely do the naughty. I remember one incident that when we discovered petrol, in those days, there was a rumor among the elders that petrol is coming from by digging soil. You dig a well, you get petrol in Arab countries. So I told Charlie, let us try. Let us try in our backyard. Let us find petrol. Then we both took a rod and we started digging for oil. We couldn't find oil. Then I went tired. Then Charlie running after me said, Chetan, there is oil, there is oil. Then I was running there and touching the oil. It was there where he urinated.
Oh, no.
He And this story went all over in Irinjalakuda that Charlie and Jolly found oil in the backyard. It was a joke of that time. We both studied together. We were sharing the same table. I sit on the right and he sit on the left. And he was using the same textbook what I was using. My parents, my father always when he buy textbooks for me, he always bind it with a hard cover, and he tell me, give to Charlie, give to my sister, and so on. And the same book used by all our 7 members of the family. We are 7, 4 brothers and 3 sisters. I am the eldest of the family. That time went on. I went to Saudi Arabia, and soon he also came to Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia, he needed a driver's license. So he asked me, Chetan, you taught me how to cycle, you teach me how to drive. So I gave my car and I taught him driving. And after some time he left to India. And he got married and he left to America. I was the happiest person when he left to America. Then, when I started the business, I called one day Charlie. Chetan wants to do business in America. Sure, Chetan. I am only working in the second shift, so my daytime is open for business. Shall we do? So even before I tell him, he started the business with JC Enterprises, Jolly and Charlie Enterprises. That was going on for some time. It was mainly for export and import. And I thought that is not enough. I said, Charlie, we should also sell within the country. So let us change the name to Blast Line. And we started Blast Line in America. It's going so well. I'm not taking too much time. We were like twin brothers. So you can imagine if I lose my other half, how painful it is. I am representing for all my family back in India. Today in our local church, we have a ceremony, Holy Mass and office, and all the relatives, all friends, all are gathering in Ernakulam, in our parish. And also there is live stream. It will start soon at 10 o'clock local time in India. I am praying for Charlie's soul. He was my partner. He was my brother. I did my best for him all the time. I pray for his soul. May God allow him to enter his kingdom. We will meet once again in eternity, where there is no time and but there is no space. We all will meet once again in eternity. I pray for Kucharani, Clement, Cheryl, and grandchildren. I'm not taking much time. I express my mother's sorrow and my brothers and sisters. We join with Clement, Cheryl, and Eunice and Maurice. You are not alone, we are together. Thank you all. God bless you.
Jesse, Cheryl, Clement, and family. Since reason I know Charlie Children for 23 years. I was 99. Along with the Charlie Children comes to my apartment every single week, Fridays, and take us to home. And on Sunday evening, drop us back home. I still remember Terrell and Clement was little boy and girl. Take us for shopping, take us for dinner. The love Charlie Children gave to us. 23 years. The love Charlie Children gave us is some of the love that you children receive also. Meaning, Charlie Children was giving us life examples. Charlie Children was teaching the love, how to raise children, how to manage money. Charlie Children was teaching us all this, and we continue this love, this memory for all these years until we moved from Chicago in 2005. We've been a regular visitor in his family in pretty much all events. And they visited us back in Texas. That's where we came from. So that beautiful memory of this man, even though he has only 64 years, he lived a life of 128 years. And the achievement he made, the value he teaches, the lessons he tells us, for everyone here to follow, that what he was, his legacy is, and for us to follow. And we will cherish that. We love you, Charlie Chechi, Cheryl and Clement and family. We pay respect, even though he's not with us. His love, his teachings, everything will be with us. He is now dying forever from our minds. He will live with us all the time. And Pucharan Chichi and family, we are with you, and for your family members, we tell you we are with you all the time. We will support you whatever way we can. And one more thing is, Charlie Children is with Jesus now, and what I pray is, God help me to live a life that this man lived. Help me to live a life for compassion to others. Help me to do that, and so should be for every one of us here. He was a model for that. Thank you for everyone listening. Thank you.
everybody. Just wanted to, again, thank you all for joining us today. I just wanted to make sure everybody who is able to attend tomorrow for the funeral, it'll be located at St. John the Baptist Church tomorrow at 10:30. So again, I just wanted to make sure that everybody has that information. If you don't, just come and see me. I'll be able to give you the flyer with all the more details. So again, we just want to appreciate you all sharing your support with us today. So thank you all.
Drive.
driver's seat. Sit back in the driver's seat. And be
I'm a survivor. I'm okay. No. Not at all. No, she said when I left, she didn't offer me anything. I'm okay. And I heard you were trying to call me. No, see, I heard you were trying to call me. I thought it was spam. Or I thought it was maybe government. I was like, I'm not answering. thank you all for joining us for my family, we will always I know I am coming, okay? Yeah. Help us find Where are you? Where at though?
From here about.
Is it by the airport then? Or no?
No, from the airport then.
Okay, but it's a crossroad.
It's a Baptist church next to it.
Seriously? No, I mean
This big is